All right, we're gonna get things moving. I'm gonna turn the time over to Jacob and Todrick so that they can talk all about Fivetran, open positions, their company, and then I'll hop back in for the Q&A at the end. Here you go.
Thanks, Alicia. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for just joining this call. We do appreciate your time. We just want to take a moment just to really share with you about, Fivetran, who we are, what we do, and hopefully at the end of this session, you can have a better understanding about, Fivetran, and like Alicia said, any questions that you may have, we can hopefully try to answer them to our best ability. So my name is Todrick Byron, one of the senior recruiters, as well as Jacob. And I just want to kind of share with you about who Fivetran is. So basically, we are basically started with our founders, which is George Frazier and Taylor Brown. From the beginning, they just realized that the ETL tools were badly underperformed and needed a fresh approach. They grew up together, and basically after, many iterations of their dream, they founded Fivetran in 2013 from the Y Combinator. Fivetran is headquartered here in Oakland. And when we're not quarantined, we'll be back in the office, which hopefully will be maybe in July of this year. We have 8 offices around the world, and we just passed the 400 employee milestone. We've built a company that allows everyone to bring their authentic selves to work every day, which fosters a culture of inclusivity and belonging. So, how does Fivetran work? Basically, we have these pre-built connectors. Basically, they will just connect to any data source, and from there, we basically like to move forward with our data pipelines that will go to the centralized destination of the location of the warehouses. So one of the things we like to think about is, as you're fully aware, data is a driving force and focal point for most companies now. There's a large amount of information scattered all over the place within organizations. So oftentimes we wonder what insights. So basically, they try to find out what insights to draw it from. How can they organize it, and how can they comprehend this data information? So what Fivetran provides is a faster, better way to centralize all your data sources so you can quickly model and obtain meaningful insights using your favorite data analysis and BI tools. There, many aspects that go into making a company data-driven, kind of relies on 3 main needs. It would be like the cloud storage, it would be the BI or the business intelligence, or the pipeline. So you can kind of look at the cloud storage as being just a safe destination for the gathered data, and so it can live, in a specialized one location. And then obviously the business intelligence piece is just something that interprets the data and the graphs so they can understand the information. And the pipeline is more like, it's back and forth as like a taxi service of sort, where it basically will transport the information from the one data source to the final destination. Next, we can go with Jacob if you want to talk about the cultures and the values.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. My name is Jacob, and my Fivetran story started last year. I really wasn't even kind of looking, and was reached out to them, and kind of went through the interview process, and then came on site here in Denver. We have an office that's right by the football stadium, and was just really impressed by the people I met, by the team, and just really how they were dedicated to really building something great. So here at Fivetran, we really live by 3 values. Integrity, which is we always do the right thing. We're going to make sure that we have everybody's best interest in mind, whether it's our company, whether it's employees, and we give our employees a platform to kind of speak and be heard. We're never going to be that micromanaged kind of old school traditional company to where you have your hiring managers that are on you, and you got deadlines and all this stuff. While we do have deadlines, we do allow people to be themselves, and we're all adults. You're treated like an adult. You know what you need to do to get things done, and so you really have free reign to be able to handle your work and be a huge factor for this company. We have great PTO. We have lunch and learns with our CEO and our COO, various Slack channels where you can always kind of get your questions answered. And the next thing is initiative. We really believe that Fivetran belongs to its employees. We take ownership. We're accountable. We see how things can be done more efficiently, and that's what our tool is, and that's how we want to really live kind of our mindsets. And then we have one team, one dream. Everybody's best interest is for this company to be successful. You're not competing with someone else. You're not trying to step on someone to get ahead. It really is a team effort. So much cross-functional work. Me here on the recruiting side, I know Todrick as well. We're working with tons of different departments, and they pull in people from those departments to interview. They're really, important in the kind of how and who we hire. So if someone is on the marketing side, marketing works really closely with product and with sales. So we'll pull in some people from product and sales to interview and to really make sure we're getting the right person in there. We also have great groups around the LGBTQ community, for women, people of color. I'm part of the Black Fivetranners group, as well as the ERG group. So, we really want people to have a voice and concerns and, be able to voice their opinions and especially what's going on in kind of this world. Culture is huge to us. We really want people that are going to add to and provide us with that culture of just genuine people really working hard together, being respectful of each other, and helping drive this product and this company of ours. We're, again, a team. We don't, while there's always nice to compete in kind of a playful way, we're definitely not competing with each other to step on one another to get ahead in this company. Your hard work is really what gets you there, and being able to follow, what your track record is. We really are truly focused on work-life balance with that generous PTO. Obviously you can't be taking months off at a time, but we do have great paternity and maternity leave. But we really do want people to have a work-life balance. If you're feeling burnt out, take a couple of days, take an early weekend. You're never going to get your hand slapped for taking time to really be your best self. And that's mental awareness around you as well. And so, we are very transparent. One of our last kind of things that goes with culture is transparency. We're going to tell you what's going on. We're not pulling the veil over anybody's eyes. We have all hands meetings every couple of weeks that kind of go over the health of the company, where things are looking. A lot of times questions can be submitted anonymously, or you can directly ask. And that's definitely okay. And so, that is really just kind of the core values of what makes Fivetran so special in my eyes. And it's shared across all teams. So yeah. Todrick, I don't know if you want to go to the next slide. So here's some hot jobs. So me and Todrick sit on the go-to-market side. And I know last time we had some people from the engineering and tech side. So all of our go-to-market roles are usually within the marketing, design. Todrick handles finance and legal. We have customer success and sales. These are some of the jobs that we're working on. Right now, I am working with the design team. We have a visual product designer, and then a senior product designer. And really what we're looking for is people that have that kind of front end experience of working cross-functionally. And then we'll have some links to the job posts so you can really kind of dive in. And then I'll let Todrick kind of talk about what he's working on.
Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, and I'm also focusing a little bit right now on the FP&A director, technical enablement program manager, as well as a Salesforce developer. And really what we're looking for the P&A director is just somebody who has that hyper growth mentality in that SaaS industry and really have a strong finance background. From the technical enablement program manager role, we're really looking for somebody who has a solid, to some degree, background with that customer success, as well as being able to teach and also instruct others. They won't be managing people, but they will be managing the process and leading others along the way. As far as a Salesforce developer, we're looking for somebody who has basically just a strong understanding of the Salesforce piece, understanding the works of how to develop certain applications, and just understanding really how to work with others in this area. These locations, in terms of locations, we do specifically try to keep it within Denver, Oakland. If it is remote, that would be something that we would have to really look at if it's just really something that's very difficult to find, but we try to stay within these two locations if possible.
And I will say, for the marketing side of the house that I usually sit on as well and recruit on, they are a little more flexible with remote work. Now, obviously, we pride ourselves on culture, so we would love for people to be in these areas. But some of the managers and heads of the department are remote, so they're pretty much open to it as well.
Okay, the hiring process. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah. So really the hiring process is really set up by, and it can depend. We usually do a recruiter screen, and that's kind of our way of just being able to see if this is a good fit for both sides. Again, you are interviewing us as well. But this is where we talk about your experience, talk about what interested you in Fivetran, talk about how you're a culture fit, talk about, get into compensation to make sure it really fits. Sometimes we do kind of bypass this screen if you're checking off all the boxes from a resume standpoint or anything like that, and we can directly get you to the hiring manager. We just always like to have these touch points to make sure that we're, when we get into final stages, that we're all aligned with what it takes to really get you to be a Fivetranner. So I'll let you talk about hiring manager screen, Todrick.
Okay, perfect. So like Jacob said, we really like to take that opportunity. If we feel like you've already checked all the boxes from their initial recruiter screen, then we have you speak pretty much with the manager. It's kind of the same setup to where you have that, what I call is a meet and greet, where you really have the opportunity to kind of ask questions for the manager. The manager also asks you questions just to really see your background, understand how you would fit in with the group, the trajectory, what they're trying to do in this group in terms of expectations, and just anything that might be a concerning from how does the manager manage? What is her ideal look for the person that will be in this role? So it really gives the candidate and the manager to really see, like Jacob stated earlier, if there'd be a culture fit, if you have the aptitude, if you have the knowledge, if you would be a great fit to join the team based off that initial conversation with the manager. Then from there, we will basically go, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Oh, no, I was going to talk about role play. So the role play is really depending on the role, on the job, whoever the department is. We have certain exercises that we'll have a candidate do. I know with like marketing, it may be set up your 30, 60, 90-day plan of what this looks like. With visual and design teams, it's a presentation of your portfolio and certain prompts that we have. And you're always prepared. I usually, and I know Todrick as well, when that prompt goes out before you're scheduled to meet with that hiring manager, we usually take a chance to meet with that candidate and really walk through them and what that looks like. The hiring manager is very involved. So if you need extra time to meet with that hiring manager and make sure that your presentation is checking off all the boxes and what the team will be looking for, don't be afraid. We always want, again, our job is not to, and as a company, while we are looking for the right fit, we're not trying to trick anybody. We want them to feel comfortable coming in this role. We just want to make sure we're putting them at the right either level or in the right role. So yeah.
Yep, and like to what Jacob just stated, we really are trying to make sure that ultimately that you're successful, because the more successful you are, the more Fivetran is successful as a company. So we really just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we are in alignment and on the same page. These here are basically just some handy links, some career pages where you would basically can just go in to see where just find out a little bit more about some of the opportunities that we have across the globe in your location, or maybe if you're relocating somewhere else, maybe we have some openings that may fit your background. This here would be, and you can speak about that, Jake, about the apply here.
Yeah, that's just our greenhouse link. So it's when you go to Fivetran Careers, it's going to take you that's how we see that you have applied. Greenhouse is our internal system for the recruiters. So that really is what that is. And that's usually what the link will look like. So just don't be thrown off if you see that. And then there's our email address at the bottom. Usually this is around if you have any questions, if you've applied and nobody's reached out. We do get a lot of people reaching out. So sometimes it can be hard to go through them all, but if you are able to shoot an email to this, they usually do a great job of getting it to the right people or getting it to the right team, and letting us know, and we can certainly take the initiative and reach out to you.
Well, is there any questions?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob and Todrick, for coming in and telling us all about Fivetran and what an amazing company y'all work with. So let's look in the chat real quick. I know that Shante has been in there. She's from Fivetran and answering some of your questions. But if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat and we will go through and answer those. We have a question asking if you're only hiring for the Colorado and California offices, or are you hiring for remote work as well?
Yeah, so we touched on this a little bit. So really it depends on the department. Like I said, I work with a lot of the marketing team, and we've seen that people can be successful no matter where they sit. Design is a newer department for us, and we are working with them to kind of be open to looking remote as well. If Denver doesn't have a good pipeline, a robust pipeline of diverse candidates that really fit the job bill, we as the recruiting team will go to the hiring manager and say, hey, we might need to look at remote work here. Is this doable? Can this person still be a functioning part of your team while working remote? So I don't want to say yes, I don't want to say no. It really depends, and it's situational.
Awesome. Let's see. So for those in the chat, Fivetran does have some jobs posted on the Fairstream job board, and that will link out to their website, so you can apply there. That's just below the video feed here. But there were a few people asking, are the roles that you have posted on Fairstream the only roles, or do you have more roles available? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I believe we do. I mean, I think we always, we don't want to sound like a broken record, but whenever you hear people say just go to our career site, but we do have quite a few positions, because that we're like Jacob and I are in the go-to-market side. We have a tech side as well. So we really, anytime we have positions that are being posted or being open, the job board is going to be the first, our career site is going to be the first place that those are more active. So I would always say go to our website, because you may be applying to a position that you see for, like, maybe I'm supporting, but there may be some other openings out there that you don't know about, that once you go to the website, you can see those other opportunities that you may say, okay, I also have experience in these in this area as well. So we do have quite a few. I know we have a lot of positions that are in the process of coming open. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but we do know there's a lot of growth there. So we do have a lot of activity that's taking place.
Awesome. There are a couple of people asking about specific roles, and I think you just answered that question. If you're not seeing it right now, you may see it as Fivetran continues to grow, so you can always check in there. Whitney asked, as a working mother, how is the work-life balance?
Yeah, I mean, we are, so, one thing that last year, especially with COVID, we were seeing that a lot of people weren't taking time off. And so we kind of redid our PTO just to not to make sure people take time off, but we really do want people to take time off, or, be able to go do the things they need to do. And I was able to touch on this a little bit, but we really want people to be happy. And so having kids is not a punishment. It should not be a reason that, you don't feel that you're appreciated. So take your time. as long as you're getting your work done, as long as you're communicating with your hiring manager, you're going to be fine. We had one of our most favorite people. She was out on maternity leave for about 4 or 5 months, and we welcomed her back with open arms because she's great, she's amazing, and she deserved that time off to be with her her newborn. So we are very much a company of your mental health is more important than any work you do, and you're going to be at your best when you are feeling relaxed, when you are not feeling pressured to be scared to take time off. And when you are taking time off, it is okay for sure to close your laptop and not respond to anything, close your Slack, turn off notifications. That is your time off.
Awesome. We love to hear that. It's so nice to have, to make sure that you have time for family and things that you need to do, and you're able to get your job done. Can you tell me a little bit more of, I know you covered it briefly, but a little bit more about what the application and interview process with Fivetran looks like?
So yeah, so basically, so once you've applied, you have a recruiter that will look at your resume just to make sure that the resume matches up with the requirements, just to make sure that we're there. So once we get beyond that point, we will have a recruiter reach out to try to get some availability to schedule like that, a recruiter screen. So after that 30-minute conversation with the recruiter screen, then we will go, and if that goes well, then we will have you go to the manager screen. After the manager screen, we will then, if that goes well, we will then, based off the setup of what they do in the group, we try to keep it streamlined in terms of the approach with the interview process is the same across the board. But after the manager screen, then we will go ahead and try to schedule a panel interview. So this can consist of 2 to 3 members on the panel in segments of 30 minutes to an hour. And we try to do this all within one day because we want to value everybody's time and understand everybody has a lot of stuff on their plate. So we try to do maybe a 30-minute for the cultural fit. It can be part of a technology. It can be part of something else that they want to do, a demonstration or some kind of simulation, just to kind of see how they would present or kind of how they would approach something based off whatever that simulation is. So it's really about, I would say, a good maybe 90 minutes that we try to utilize that interview process for. Once we've finished the interview, then the recruiters and the staff try to get together with the management team, the panel, to do a debrief so we can have that discussion, because we do try to get back with the candidates within a timely fashion to give them feedback, just so they can understand that we haven't forgotten about them. We're still trying to get the final feedback, but at least they know that they are still under consideration. From there, based off that conversation with the debrief, then we can get back to the candidate to let them know what the feedbacks are.
Perfect. We've got another question here. What makes a candidate stand out in your eyes?
Yeah, obviously there's no shortage of experience, but just having a great personality. There's a lot of candidates who may have not checked every box, but they were willing to learn. They did their research. They came prepared, and they really were able to impress the team, and there was growth there, and there was a lot of potential. We're in super hyper growth mode, so while we do need people that fit the bill, we also need people that are moldable, that we can promote, that we can help grow and kind of move along in their careers. So candidates that really come prepared, but candidates that also just kind of have that that I'm willing to learn, and kind of this job, no matter what, even if I don't know it, I will figure it out.
Awesome. Do you offer rotational leadership roles for recent graduates?
I do not think so. I am not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Great question. I haven't heard. That may be something in the near future, but as of right now, I don't know if we do or don't.
Okay. Let's see. What else have we got here? Can you tell me a little bit more about what that go back to work phase or go back to the office phase for Fivetran is going to look like?
I wish I had a concrete answer, but with COVID, I don't know. We are hoping to get people back into the office here in Denver by around July. But we do have an office in India, and they've really been struck with COVID. So we don't have any plan for them to go back. I don't know what our offices over in Europe look like either. Again, that's all going to depend on kind of where things stand and what goes on in this, around COVID and everything. We obviously want people to feel very comfortable going back to work. We are also looking at leaving it up to the departments. So, if you sit on the legal team and, the head of legal is fine with you, coming in the office every couple of days or waiting until, the fall, it really is going to depend. I don't have a concrete answer, but again, we will want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and safe.
Perfect. Stephen has a question. What advice do you have for people who have outside perspectives and are making the transition into technology? He is a software engineer now, but moving into tech from the audio and media industry.
I think it's great. Honestly, I think it's great because you're bringing in a different perspective that maybe that's not currently there on the team. So I think it's kind of what we mentioned before. When we have those initial conversations with the candidate, that's the opportunity for us to really not just look at the resume, but also be able to get to know the person as well. And so that allows us to really give back to the manager and kind of tell them why we think we should, or they should speak to this candidate. A lot of times there are a lot of, transferable experiences that are not listed, that may be on the resume that are not on the job application or the responsibility of the job duties. So basically, it just allows us to see a little bit more about this candidate. So I think whenever a person is transitioning from one industry to another, if it's within some kind of alignment, I think that's always healthy and it's always welcoming.
Awesome. Can you also tell me, we always get this question, does Fivetran have any issues with employment gaps? We have people that leave the workforce for family reasons or health or things just happen. How is Fivetran with employment gaps?
Yeah. So, one thing that we really try to say at Fivetran, at least from the recruiting team, you'll have hiring managers that are new in positions and they may not understand that. But, what we always try to tell them is that if the person who is interviewing has still relevant experience, and maybe they took time off, we don't know what's going on. And we don't really want to pry and we don't want to dig into why you took the time off. If they're still showcasing the skills that are needed, we're going to be fine with that. We try not to rely too heavy on people's tenure at places. You just never know what could have happened. So we try to be very open when it comes to that. Now, if a hiring manager is pushing back, us as the recruiting team, we work with the HR department, and that's something we bring up and say, hey, we cannot be biased in this. We really want to look at our biases at Fivetran. And so we try to do everything we can to avoid them. And so to me, that is something of a bias when you're looking at someone's gap in employment. And it's something that we really work hard on to not do. So short answer, we really try to make sure that is not a factor. Sometimes it can be, but as the recruiting department and the HR department, we really are focused on making sure that doesn't happen.
And to piggyback off of what Jacob said, I think that right there also adds to the true value and the true authenticity of Fivetran because of those kind of pillars. We try to go away from the biasness. We really try to look at understanding that everybody's story is different, everybody's background is different. So because of that, what we saw on the resume, a lot of job hopping, maybe a situation from a life situation where that's all they had. So we try to put everything in perspective and we try to go based off the character of the individual, their personality, and how would they fit in with Fivetran.
That is great. It looks like we are coming up on time here. So I want to say thank you so much to Todrick and Jacob for giving us this presentation and taking questions. And thank you to Jonte from Fivetran, who is in the chat answering questions as well, for being here today, for talking with us. As mentioned, you can click the apply button below the video feed on the Fairstream website to see jobs that Fivetran has posted, and it will take you out to their application site. You can also click the network button below the video, and you can see people from Fivetran that are on the Fairstream platform. You can message them for advice, questions, any of that. So please do that. And lastly, please make sure that your profiles are complete so that Fivetran can see how amazing you are and see all of your background for hiring purposes. So just make sure to hit that home button at the top of the page, and there should be a banner at the top of the dashboard that says complete your profile. Make sure that is all completed so Fivetran can see what an awesome candidate you are. So thank you so much again to Jacob and Todrick for being here. I am going to let them go, and then we will be back with Pluralsight in just a few minutes.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you guys.
Everyone.